yeah, this is kind of the statement that we're doing with Cobra Spell, that we should be able to freely express ourselves because we live in a. We hope that I hope that we're living in some kind of in a free creative world, but apparently we're not.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time in the channel, hit subscribe right now.
Sonia of COBRA SPELL, thank you so much for your time today. As we are recording this is, I think, 2 or 3 hours after you posted a photo on your Instagram saying, hey, my favorite band is Kiss, what's your favorite band? But I did notice that you had an ambush pin on your jacket, which is a really cool, newer-ish Swedish, like, new wave of traditional heavy metal bands. Let's forget about the Kisses and the W.A.S.Ps and all the good ones that we know you're a big fan of. If you look around today, because I know that you keep a pulse on what's going on in metal world. So just like Ambush, are there other like newer, retro-ish metal bands that you think people should know about?
Amethyst is a band that I'm really liking. It's more upcoming. It's new. I would say Sabir.
Okay, yeah.
And that I really like. I wouldn't say they're particularly like a new band because they have been existing for a few years already now, but it's like from this decade.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay.
Those are bands that I like. Yeah.
Perfect. We'll check those out for those of you that haven't seen them yet. But let's get to the point why we are here. Finally, we are almost here. The album, your debut full-length album for Cobra Spell, is going to come out December 1st. So, I know this has been a emotional roller coaster, to say the least, these last 5 years. So how are you feeling right now, so close to the release, finally, of this album?
Well, I'm very excited for the release. Of course, I am going through a whole healing process myself. Has a lot of things going on in my career. It's a lot to take, and step by step I am closer to getting where I want to get, and listening to my true voice, to my following my own dream, that inner voice that is speaking to me of what I want to do as a musician. I'm trying to be authentic, and that's where I'm going towards to. And this album 666 for me is a major accomplishment. For the whole band, it's a major accomplishment to release the very first album. It's the very first Cobra Spell album. So it's an exciting moment. It has a lot of personal work and personal lyrics in this album. I mean, I even tattooed the name on my wrists. What I mean. There's a lot of work put into it, and it's a celebration for me to be able to release it with the audience.
You say, and I've heard you say this before, it's so important for me to be a genuine musician. And at the same time, the band makes no, is not trying to hide at all where the influences lie. I think your official tagline is a heavy rock band stuck in the 80s. So is that a challenge from a musical perspective to balance those two out? Because if you're going to play music that is so heavily inspired by the 80s heavy metal and rock scene, people are gonna dissect and go like, oh, this sounds like Quiet Riot, and this is a little bit of Poison, and this, well, maybe not Poison, but this is a little bit of W.A.S.P and what have you, right? So how, when you are writing music, how do you make sure that your music is its own, really stands on its own, if you see what I mean?
Honestly, I don't think that much about it anymore, as I have composed a lot of music for Cobra Spell already. It feels very natural to me, certainly when it's a style that I'm very familiar with. It's a style that I listen on daily basis. It's on my playlists, not only the rock music, but also the heavy metal, the power metal, in the 80s. I mean, Can be even like pop music, synthesizer music, the whole 80s music scene overall is very interesting to me. The chord progressions, I'm completely crazy about it. I'm totally into it. I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to that. I analyze the melodies from it, and I automatically absorb everything in my head. I don't know why. Those melodies, those progressions, I love that. And whenever I'm writing music, it's something that just flows out, and I have a lot of ideas, and COBRA SPELL is like a free playground to explore those ideas. And sometimes they come out as guitar ideas, and sometimes they come out as synthesizer ideas, and they become the sound of COBRA SPELL because they have like a certain Sonia filter. I think when I'm adding certain melodies to it, they start sounding like COBRA SPELL, I think. I don't know. To me, it's not that much of a challenge. It's something that just, it's probably because of my passion for the 80s that it sounds 80s.
For me, the two songs that I think I like the most, which is interesting because they're back-to-back on the album, are Love Equals Love and Love Crime. And what I like about the fact that I like those two songs is that they're quite different, which shows that within an album that is rooted in 80s hard rock and heavy metal, you can still have a lot of variety. Was that important for you that you take us on that journey? Because those two songs could have also been from two different bands, right?
Totally right. As I said, my love for music is not only in the hard rock style, but I really love adult-oriented rock music.
Right.
Those movie tracks from the 80s. And personally, I also enjoy the synthesizer world from the 80s. And Love is Love is an example of a song that I started composing from the synthesizer and then forward with the different instruments. But I started from a synthesizer composition. And when you start with this, when I start, at least to my experience, I don't know for other people, when I start with a synthesizer composition, the song starts sounding a lot of more melodic. It sounds a lot more adult-oriented rock. And whenever I start a song from the guitar perspective, the riffs somehow make it a lot of more, or either heavy metal, like Love Crime. It sounds it's more riff-based. You can hear
that's a more powerful song for sure,
more prominent role in this song. And I like both elements of music. I like the melody, I like the synthesizers of the 80s, but I also really like the heaviness of the guitars and some more speed-oriented riffs, more Judas Priest. And Judas Priest also has a Turbo Lover, but has a Painkiller, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. You just bring them together on one album. There you go.
Yeah, and I didn't even have that in mind. I don't put rules into my songwriting. I just want to make something that I love listening to.
Yeah.
I believe has the identity of COBRA SPELL. Sometimes I have an idea of a song and I hear it and I'm like, damn, this is just way too different for COBRA SPELL. And then of course I will discard it. But this was the case with Love is Love. I wasn't really sure if it could work. But once I added those guitars in the song, because there is some distorted guitars in the song, I was convinced, okay, this one can work.
Yeah. Now you say you wrote that song, or initially on synthesizer. Does that mean that one of the things that make that song stand out is a very 80s thing, which is a saxophone part of the sound? Is that a saxophone, or is that a keyboard pretending to be a saxophone?
Good question. It's a real saxophone. We had a session musician in the studio to recording that. It was a very, very spontaneous choice. This was not something that we planned in beforehand with them. So I asked our producer, because in that part actually was going to be a guitar solo that I would improvise in the studio.
Okay.
And I didn't feel it. I felt like, no, I cannot make it justice.
Yeah.
I said, maybe we can find a saxophone player, because maybe a very 80s smooth sexy saxophone solo would fit in there, and the producer knew exactly who to get in touch with, and a guy from Madrid who studies at the conservatorium, a jazz musician called Naphtha, a very good musician. He improvised a very beautiful saxophone solo there.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we made that happen, and now it's on Love Is Love.
Yeah. Now, Love Is Love is, I'm gonna say, an important song for the band. And when we look at the themes and what is being said, stuff that you stand by, and a nice, when you play a live show, you want to take us on that roller coaster. You want to be, full gas for the Painkillers, but you want to have that moment as well. So I expect Love Is Love to be played live. Does that mean that we're gonna see? I forget his name now. Ustedes? Naphtha, yeah. Will we see Naphtha or anybody else join you, or will you have to rely on some on-stage magic?
We're still thinking about the logistics on how we're gonna make it happen. We'll see. But it's a song that we need to play live. It has a very cool and important lyrics. It's about inclusivity, about love in all, without limits, love without limits, It speaks about a very present subject that not many metal bands dare to sing about. And, I think it has a special message, and we really want to play it live.
Yeah. Well, you could always do what Ghost is doing, right? Just have some pre-recorded tracks and have somebody pretend to play the saxophone for 5 seconds on stage.
I'm not sure. We're a live band, like everything.
Exactly.
Preferably live, but we will see what we do.
Let's use this. So is the perfect song to use as a segue from the music to what you were talking about, because this song, you already mentioned it, Love Is Love, is really about inclusivity, respect. Several of the songs deal with your own experiences and frustrations with both religious upbringing and masochism that you've seen. So when you release album and singles and you start play shows live, that's just a fact of life. There are going to be people there that are on that journey with you and that get it and that have taken the time to listen to the lyrics and are there for that message. And there's going to be people there that, not necessarily saying with bad intentions, but that will stay on that surface level and go like, oh, it's a party metal band and it's party about being a sexy party, whatever. Is that okay for you? Or is it somewhat of a shame that not everybody is going to take that time to dig a little deeper?
I know that it's gonna happen because it's happening, obviously. Definitely in the first single that we released, S.E.X, this is something that is super clearly visible in the comment section. While what we're doing right now is not something that has never been done.
Right.
It has been always done by men. And this is the thing that this is the kind of statement that might be like shocking for people right now, is that it's when men do this kind of shock rock lyrics, it has been done by bands such as W.A.S.P, has been done, Alice Cooper, Kiss, name it. There is so many artists that sing about sex, though there has always been like a certain role in there. The women had to be the groupies and the men had to be the rock stars. And in this case, we are changing that up. We are being the women, we're being the rock stars. And this can be intimidating or weird to some people because it's women doing that. They're being the shock rock artists. And this is a performance, what we're doing here. And this is, when women do it, it's translated as, oh, they're just trying to create a marketing product. If you know what I mean, they're trying to sell themselves.
Yes.
Singing about this. while my admiration is for the music of this style. I have a passion for this music, the shot style. When I was 14 years old, I was looking at videos from Blackie Lawless announcing Animal, and I was seeing Gene Simmons being a badass demon singing about meet you in the ladies' room. Of course, there is a certain misogynistic background in certain
just a small one, yeah.
No, small, but I am personally fan of the performance behind that. And as a woman, I want to be able to perform in this way, and that doesn't mean that I'm asking for some kind of attention, unsolicited attention. You know what I mean? And yeah, this is kind of the statement that we're doing with COBRA SPELL, that we should be able to freely express ourselves, because we live in I hope that we're living in some kind of in a free creative world, but apparently we're not. We need to make a bold statement with that.
Yeah. Now, I mean, all joking and kidding aside, as you have grown up, like, what has been that experience for you where, like you said, like, oh, I was a fan of the performance, and it was cool, and it was amazing, and it sounded so good, and the chord progressions, and like, I was really a big fan of the music. It's always tricky to look at morality of the past with today's standards. That's always very tricky to do. But at the same time, it's also very easy to see that 80s heavy metal was not necessarily the most female-friendly environment. So how is that for you? You know, like, going from a 14-year-old girl looking at those videos to becoming an adult woman. You were with COBRA SPELL, you turned it around. Mm-hmm. But is it also tough at times to go like, well, I really like this band and that song, but if I really now listen to what they wrote or how they acted off stage, like, is that sometimes a difficult balance? Like, is that a dilemma? Looking at it from a different angle?
It's different times. People are in certain ways because of their education, certainly, and their parenting, and they're raised with certain ideas, and you kind of almost can't blame that in that generation of the 80s it was the way it was.
Right.
And of course there will be different situations. I'm not saying that everything is fine and they can
of course.
I'm not saying that. I mean to say that I'm sure that there were not always the meanest intentions. A lot of the artists that I look up to are musicians that I have read biographies from. And
right.
I read the biography of Paul Stanley. My favorite band is Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very respectful to women. And he has always been a very professional musician, and has not been a sex, drugs, and rock and roll kind of musician, which are the musicians that I don't look up to that much. I don't look up to the lifestyle of Motley Crue, if I'm very honest. I don't look up to that.
No.
I'm not into that. I am more into the music. I am more into the aesthetic. I'm more into the theatrical side. I am also very much fan of Alice Cooper, who is a very professional musician, who brings his wife on tour, and something that I totally admire. So I like to. The musicians that I admire have mainly been the ones that are very professional with what they do. They are really what they do, while the ones that are more like shady and are like have this very rock and roll stories, kind of romanticized. I'm not really that much into that. If I can kind of like bring into how it should be, like if I can inspire women, because of course like the rock and metal scene is imbalanced when it comes to gender. I'll definitely put in my stone. I don't know how to say.
You'll add your piece to it. Yeah, for sure, for sure. You'll do your part. And you, here we are again. We've spoken for 5 minutes straight about women in metal, and you must be so bored by that by now.
I think it's very interesting.
One more thing that you really like about the 80s, not just the music, is also cars. So what's your favorite car from the 80s and why?
The Lamborghini Countach.
How do you know when you hear the call?
I think it's an amazing supercar because it's so unpractical, but yet so cool. It's the most unpractical car ever. It's made to look cool, really.
There you
It's
go.
not made to be driven. and that's why it's so funny. I mean, it's funny, but the car in itself is just amazing. The
Yeah.
It has fascinated me since the time that I knew of its existence.
What you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me.
A fun fact about it, the middle window cannot see the back because of the spoiler, so it's completely impractical again. But it's a beautiful car.
And is that then also the car that's on the t-shirt that you guys have?
Yes.
All right, cool.
A shirt, Accelerate with a white Countach on it. Yeah.
Exactly. Awesome.
I was raised to be a child of holy lunacy. I chose to deny my God's existence.
You're gonna be promoting this album like crazy. We're gonna see you play a lot of shows. What can you share at this point?
At the moment, we have announced a Spain tour, and we're working very hard on getting a Europe tour booked. Definitely playing the album songs. We will be playing a lot of them. We're gonna do a very bombastic stage performance. It's gonna be totally different from what you've seen from COBRA SPELL before.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are working like a lot on it. It's very exciting. Stage props going on.
I mean, I expect at this point that the drums are kind of built in this custom Lamborghini in the middle of the stage that goes up and down. And
you're giving me fantastic ideas there.
There you go. You don't want to be Motley Crue, but if you can have a drum set that rises and turns around like a car, like Tommy Lee, that would be pretty epic.
It definitely would. It definitely would.
My dreams are so wild. My thoughts are so obscene.
We are totally excited to see if there's any other opportunities coming from outside Europe. Would be amazing. I would love to come to Canada. I would love to come to the United States, Japan, if it's possible, Australia. But yeah, we have to stay realistic. It's our very first album of the band, and we'll see what opportunities come up and what is realistic for us to do. But whatever we can do, we will. And we're aiming to spread our music as far as we can.
We'll keep our eyes open for everything that you'll be announcing. And if you don't make it in this first year to North America, then we'll just have to come to Europe and see you play. I have a feeling we're going to see you at quite a few festivals this summer. So, Sonia, thank you so much for your time. I know that this is the final weeks before you can finally publicly share this album, and I hope it will feel like a huge burden off of your shoulders. But then knowing you a little bit, I think that just means that you just want to keep accelerating, and that is just going to be the start of another roller coaster. So super excited to see everything coming our way. Thank you so much for your time today, and opening up and sharing your thoughts about all of the themes behind the music as well. I really appreciate that. Have such an amazing release, and I look forward to seeing you on a stage in 2024.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for giving us a platform to really promote our album 666. We are very excited. It will be available on all major platforms for everyone, and you can pre-order it on Napalm Records in the United States. Separate United States Napalm Records. We're releasing it in Japan, in Russia. It's going to be a major release. We're very excited, and we want to thank all the supporters out there. So thank you, guys.
I will
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.